Hello, my little people. It is time for language. Yay, language. I know. If you've read the instructions, you're like, Mrs. Froman, we're writing a story again? Yes. Yes, we are. We are because for a few reasons. One, it really helps us to practice our writing skills. It really, really does. It allows us to do multiple sentences, and we're still working on mastering those sentences. We're still working on making sure that a sentence always starts with a capital, you got it, and that we are putting end marks when we have a complete sentence. That is a very, very tricky thing to do. And it's very hard to be able to recognize where we've done a complete sentence. And we know a complete sentence has to tell me who or what and what's happening. You got it. And as soon as it does that, as soon as it tells me who or what and what's happening, we call it a sentence. So we can put an end mark there. So I'm also wanting to encourage you all to include some other end marks rather than just the period. The period is awesome. A period is a great way to tell me something, and that's what his job is. It is to give a statement. It tells me something. It informs me something. Question marks mean that you need an answer. You got it. So if you have questions, it's going to end with a question mark, and that tells me I got to come up with an answer here. And then that exclamation point is if I am commanding, stop right there. That is a big finger. Yes, that is when we would use an exclamation point. So I'd like to encourage you guys to use some of those other marks in those end marks in your writing. Okay, so this writing stories just helps us to be able to do that. It also helps us to use our imagination a little bit. Hopefully use some of those descriptive words. And if we want to be fancy, what do we call a descriptive word? We call it an adjective. Adjective. What do we call descriptive words? Adjectives. You got it. Adjectives are words that describe a noun. So they make something go from there was a scary dog to there was a ferocious man-eating dog that was so scary. It helps us to add more detail and entertain our readers, hopefully. Alrighty, guys. So one of the hardest things when we're writing, guys, is getting our ideas going. It's getting our ideas going. So I'm going to help you out here a little bit. You do not have to follow this at all. If we were in our classroom and we could, I'd put up on the board, I'd put one of those big old bubbles that we could brainstorm some ideas of what we could do. But since we're not all in our classroom, we have to adjust a little bit, so we definitely can. If you've already thought of a story, perfect. Use that one. You do not need to use any of these. But if you're kind of struggling with what you want to write about, and you're just like, Mrs. Froman, I don't even know where to begin, here's a great option. Here are your characters. You got it. And characters are the what? People and animals in our story. You got it. So over here I have a monkey, tiger, unicorn, horse, cow, bird. I want you to pick at least two of those characters, because we want to be able to have a really good story. You want to be able to have some what we call dialogue, and that's when characters kind of talk to each other and interact with each other. So once again, you do not have to use this, but if you're struggling and you just can't think, here's a way to start. Pick two of these characters: monkey, tiger, unicorn, horse, cow, or bird. Okay, the next thing, okay, we got our characters. What's the next thing I'm going to tell you I want you to think about? The setting. You got it. And the setting is what? The setting is what? It's where our story takes place. It's where it happens. So I gave you some choices over here: forest, school, or a lake. So if you're having a hard time thinking about where to have a story take place, you can have a story about a monkey and a unicorn that went to school. Oh, that would be a funny story. That would be a really funny story, without a doubt. So here's your characters. Pick two. Here's the setting. Once again, you don't have to use it if you're like, oh, I wanted to do a playground. Excellent. Do a playground. Okay, but if you're struggling, you can pick one of these: a forest, a school, or a lake. Now the conflict. Conflict is a fancy way of saying what? It's our problem. It is our problem that our characters have to face. So, gave you a few ideas. Maybe somebody is being mean. That could be a conflict. And our resolution would be, how did they make him stop being mean? Or, just in front of my favorite ones, they couldn't dance. Our conflict was that our monkey didn't know how to dance. And guess who taught him how to dance? Well, I don't know. You have to tell me. I don't know. Maybe the cow showed him how to dance. A cow could do an awesome two-step. I think they could. I think they could. So that could also be a conflict. That could also be a problem that they have. Somebody didn't know how to dance. They couldn't dance. Or maybe somebody couldn't fly. Like the unicorn didn't know how to fly. Or maybe the bird, or maybe the cow didn't know how to fly. That would be awesome. And the monkey could show him how. I don't know. I don't know. That's up for you guys to be able to write and to think about and to tell me. I would love to be able to read those. The last part that I don't have up here, because I want you to think on that one. Once you have your characters, your setting, and your conflict, I want you to try to be able to figure out what's the last thing we're missing. We got our characters, we got our setting, we got our conflict. We now need our resolution. What was that? What was that? Resolution. You got it. The resolution, which is just a fancy way of saying the happily ever after. When everything gets fixed and when the problem, the conflict gets solved. So if it's that they couldn't dance, that somebody was able to teach them to dance. If it's that somebody was being mean, the horse said, knock it off. We're not going to play with you anymore if you're going to be mean. And the cow said, I'm sorry. I'll be nice from now on. There's our resolution. We fixed our problem. And that's what the resolution does. Okay? So, I took a picture of this. I will put this on Seesaw as well and on Facebook so that if you guys need to, you can look at it a little bit closer and you can decide and be able to figure it out. How many parts do we have to a narrative story, to a fiction story? How many parts are there? 3. You got it. I want to hear those 3 parts. What are those 3 parts? Get ready. Yes, the beginning, the middle, and the end. You got it. In the beginning, you're going to introduce me to your characters and your setting. That's what you do in the beginning. So I know who you're talking about. So I know what we're talking about. So in the beginning, you're going to introduce me to your characters and your setting. And then in the middle, you're going to tell me about your conflict. In the middle, you're going to tell me about your conflict. And then at the end is where you're going to tell me about your resolution. How did you fix it? How did you fix that problem? Okay? Alrighty, so that's one of your assignments this week. And it was a doozy. So your next assignment isn't nearly as tricky. It's not nearly as tricky. On this one, it looks like this. There's 2 of them actually. And what I want you to do on that one is I want you to read those sentences and tell me which one uses correct grammar. Because as we know, when we talk, we do not always talk like we should. We use words that don't even exist. Our favorite word that isn't actually a word. Do you know what word I'm talking about? What's our favorite word that we love to use and say that isn't actually a word? Yep, cuz we say it all the time. Why are you outside? 'Cause I want to be. Yeah, not a word, not a word. So we talk a little bit oddly sometimes, and that makes writing sometimes very difficult. So on this assignment, there are 2 sentences on each item. One of the sentences uses what we call correct grammar. That means it uses the right words. It uses the right wording, and it sounds like it should. The other one does not. If you have crayons, I would like you to color in the circle. That's right up here. If the sentence has correct grammar, I want it to be green. Green is all good to go. You can go with this one, Mrs. Froman. It's awesome. If you remember, it's like, hey, ho, and if it's can't get me, yeah. If it's one of those sentences where it's like, that one you're going to color red to stop me, okay? You're going to color it red so that I know, stop, Mrs. Froman, this is not a correct sentence. This does not use the right grammar. All right, so if you don't have crayons, that's okay. Color in the circle of the one that is correct grammar and cross out the one that is not. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't read through all of these. Maybe some are both correct grammar. Maybe some have both wrong grammar. I don't know. I didn't read through them. You'll have to tell me. You'll have to tell me. Alrighty, guys. So that's your other language assignment for this week. Okay. I've been impressed with some of the changes to some of those sentences that I've been giving you guys. You've been really taking and stepping it up. I am impressed. And that's what I hope you guys do when you write your story. Instead of writing, there once was a monkey, I hope you describe him to me a little bit. I hope you say there once was a tiny little monkey that liked to hop around. Let me get a good, remember we like to use those descriptive words so that we can get a good, clear picture inside of our mind. So that when you close your eyes, you definitely know what we're looking at. Because if I just said, close your eyes, think about a dog. Well, some of you might be thinking about a black dog. Some of you might be thinking about a red dog. Some of you might be thinking about a black and white dog. But if I said, close your eyes and picture a black and white spotted dog that is sitting beside a fire truck. Do you know which dog I'm talking about now? Yes, those descriptive words make everything better, guys, okay? So we want to try to use them as much as we can just to give me a better picture. I'm old. I need help with that. Okay, keep working hard, guys. I am impressed. I am very impressed. I am loving what I'm seeing. I know you guys are working hard, and I thank you for it. We will talk to you guys later. Bye.